यमुना तीरा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। I would like to welcome all of you for today's morning discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, chapter entitled The Pandavas Retire Timely, and we're discussing on text 40, 1, 15, 40. It's going to display this. I'm going to display this. 1, 15, not from here. From your laptop. Okay, if you have it on your mobile phones, you could do that. This is Canto 1, Chapter 15, chapter entitled The Pandavas Retire Timely, text 40. Visrijya tatta tat sarvam dukula valayadikam निर्ममो निरहंकारः संच्छिन्ना शेषबन्धनः विसृज्य तत्र तत्सर्वं दुकूलवलयादिकं निर्ममो निरहंकारः संच्छिन्ना शेषबन्धनः विसृज्य तत्र तत्सर्वं दुकूलवलयादिकं निर्ममो निरहंकारः संच्छिन्ना शेषबन्धनः Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas. Matajis. Cannot see? Can you increase the font there? Zoom out. Visrijya tatra tat sarvam. Visrijya, relinquishing. Tatra, all those. Tat, that. Sarvam, everything. Dukula, belt. Valayadikam, and bangles. Nirmamaha, uninterested. Nirahankaraha, unattached. Sanchinna, perfectly cut off. Ashesha bandhanaha, unlimited attachment. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace of Vahicharana Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Maharaj Yudhishthir at once relinquished all his garments, belt and ornaments of the royal order and became completely disinterested and unattached to everything. Purport. To become purified of material contamination is the necessary qualification for becoming one of the associates of the Lord. No one can become an associate of the Lord or can go back to Godhead without such purification. Maharaj Yudhishthir, therefore, to become spiritually pure, at once gave up his royal opulence, relinquishing his royal dress and garments. The kashaya or saffron loincloth of a sannyasi indicates freedom from all attractive material garments, and thus he changed his dress accordingly. He became disinterested in his kingdom and family, and thus became free from all material contamination or material designation. People are generally attached to various kinds of designations. The designations of family, society, country, occupation, wealth, position, and many others. As long as one is attached to such designations, he is considered materially impure. The so-called leaders of men in the modern age are attracted by national consciousness, but they do not know that such false consciousness is also another designation of the materially conditioned soul. One has to relinquish such designations before one can become eligible to go back to Godhead. Foolish people adore such men who die in national consciousness. But here is an example of Maharaj Yudhishthir, a royal king who prepared himself to leave this world without such national consciousness. And yet he is remembered even today because he was a great pious king, almost on the same level with the personality of Godhead Sri Ram. And because people of the world were dominated by such pious kings, they were happy in all respects, and it was quite possible for such great emperors to rule the world. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Utah Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्पिषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणम्। Hare Krishna. I would like to welcome all of you once again for today morning Srimad Bhagavatam discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, chapter entitled The Pandavas Retire Timely, and we are discussing on text 40. So Prabhupada is thrice saying in this purport about national consciousness, national consciousness, national consciousness. And this time when we'll have Janmashtami, we'll have national consciousness and Janmashtami together, 15th August, right? So, one of the favorite verses of Srila Prabhupada was Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Panjarantam Addeva me Visatau Manasa Rajahamsaha Prana Prayana Samaye Kafavata Pittai Kantavarodhana Vidhau Smaranam Kutaste. So, this Mukunda Mala Stotra, Kulashekar Alvar has written this, and Srila Prabhupada, when he made the first Hare Krishna album, and in that Prabhupada sang this verse, right? Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja. Krishna, your feet are like two lotuses, right? And the swan of my mind, let the swan of my mind always hover around these, your lotus feet. Just like the swans will always swim around the lotuses. So he says, your feet are like the lotuses and my mind is like the swan. Right now at this time, let my mind always be contemplating on your lotus feet. Why? Prana prayana samaye kafavata pityai. When prana prayana, when the time will come, when the life air will leave my body, the soul will leave the body, at that time of death, kafa vata pittai, kafa vata and pitta, kantha avarodhana vidhau. This kantha, this throat will be full of this cough, mucus and bile, and there will be so much pain. At that time, how will I think of you? Let me think of you right now, right? So we find in the lives of devotees like Pandavas, especially Yudhishthir Maharaj's example is coming here. All the Pandavas are retiring timely. But what do we find in this world? Is it easy to retire timely? Right? Nobody is saying, unplanned retirement. Prabhupada's title of the chapter is Retire Timely. Before time retires you. Before time retires, plan how you retire timely, and you can wholeheartedly, 100% practice Krishna consciousness. Not that one simply remains in that materialistic life and designations. We find the entire Kurukshetra war was for what? To put Pandavas on the throne. And all that they ruled they ruled just for 36 years. And as soon as they understood that Krishna has gone back to his abode, Yudhishthira Maharaj said, I don't want to remain the king now. He retired. And after him, everyone else followed. Right? So this retiring timely, how does this happen? There is something called, there's an art behind it. It's called the art of letting go. It has to be learnt. It has to be mastered, not before death, not when we are at a ripened age. it has to be learnt while we are living life. Art of letting go, right? Because to live in this world, everyone knows and everyone somehow understands, learns how I will live in this world. But how to let go, how to leave this world and go back home, back to God, Pandavas are the example. And Srila Prabhupada says, for the Pandavas, Prabhupada says, they are the examples of typical pure devotees, Prabhupada says. They are typical pure devotees, right? If we have to, in our bhakti, we should look up to the Pandavas. You will find controversies there amongst Pandavas. You find arguments amongst Pandavas. You find cooperation amongst Pandavas. You find Krishna being the center amongst Pandavas. For sadhana bhaktas like us, Pandavas are an ideal example of typical pure devotees. But if we start thinking, oh, now it's already 4-5 years, now let me chant Radhe, Radhe. You can chant Radhe, Radhe, but the devotion of the Brajavasis, it's to be worshipped, right? First, we have to see the example of Pandavas, and especially from the example of Pandavas, today we'll understand how to let go. How to learn this art to let go things at the right time. As the time comes by, we understand some things have to be, I have to let go, right? Because one day will surely come in my life, one moment will surely come when I will have to let go everything. But generally what happens, we pick up things and we collect things in this world. Like what was Ravana doing? Ravana would go around anywhere and everywhere, and whatever he would find good, whichever thing he would feel, he would like, he would pick up and bring it to his Lanka. And Lanka was full of all these things, right? Sometimes we may go to a mall and we see something, ये भी रख लो, वो भी रख लो, ये भी रख लो, और कहाँ जाता है फिर वो अपनी लंका में जमा करके रखो. Sometimes even in temple we find, you do a maha cleaning and you're like, क्या क्या लेके रखा हुआ है? How many things do we have here? It's not a question of, a grahastha's house or a temple. It's simply our tendency to collect things, right? A tendency to collect, and not just collect, become attached. And become attached so bad, we don't want to let go, right? If we are told, share it with somebody, but if I'll need it tomorrow, then Prabhu, you have 10 pens. Every birthday, you're getting so many gifts. Give out, share, give it to others. They can also. But once it comes to me, हमारा चिपको आंदोलन है. We get attached so easily. But to become detached, to let go, it's an art to be learnt from Pandavas. Now you see, you find Pandavas' life, materially speaking, Pandavas' life, you find there was never a steady state of stability in their life. If somebody thinks, Prabhuji, सब कुछ आराम से चले, सब कुछ ठीक से चले, तो let go भी हो जाएगा. Maybe Pandavas' life was like that. No. Pandavas, they were born in the forest. And by the time they were born, Pandu and Madri decided, we are going. Pandu died, Madri went Sati, and Kunti had to remain. She also wanted to, actually there was a discussion between Kunti and Madri, who will go Sati, right? But Kunti remained back, right? And by the time Kunti decided the kids are grown up enough, let me go to Hastinapur now. Before they reached in Hastinapur, what was spread? These are illegitimate children of Kunti. Imagine, your introduction to the palace is like this. And simply intrigue, simply, every chance was taken. Vishan Mahagne Purushat Darshanat Asat Sabhayam Vanavasa Krichratah Mrude Mrude Anekarathaastratopi Draunya Astras Harir Abhirakshitaha. Kunti is recounting in front of Krishna, how many troubles did we go through? How many pains did we go through? And if Kunti was not the only one to spell it out, you had Bhishma, who lying on that battlefield, on that arrow bed, said, Aho Kashtam, Aho Anyayam. अरे तुमने केवल कष्ट सहन किया रे, How many of you think you have been through kashta in life? बहुत कष्ट झेले आपने. अपना कष्ट केवल लिफ्ट का बटन दबाने तक है. कोई कष्ट नहीं किया. They are royal people, right? They are princes, they're prince. But imagine how much they had to go through. Now, Bhishma says not just kashta. Sometimes troubles, kashta, one can tolerate, right? One can undergo suffering. But he says, aho anyayam. You also underwent injustices. Injustice you cannot tolerate. Sufferings you can, but when you have to go through injustice, and he says, you good souls, right? Pious souls, they had to undergo so much. Yad yuyam dharmanandana. You are the son of dharma personified. And he says, you did not deserve to remain alive under those tribulations. Every day was a death day for Pandavas. Today, death will approach us from which side, which form, we don't know, right? He says, Yatra Dharma Suto Raja, and Bhishma is astonished. Are Dharmaraj ka beta hai, Yudhishthir, right? And if that is not enough, you have the power of Bhishma. You have the power of Bhima with his Gada. And if that was not enough, you have Gandhivdhari Arjun. And if that was not enough, अरे सुहृद कृष्ण थे रे, उसके बाद कैसे हो गया? If everything was on their side, how did one will say, बस आराम से बस अभी चिपको आंदोलन, फेविकॉल का मजबूत जोड़ है, छूटेगा नहीं, right? भगवद गीता begins with that. धृतराष्ट्र उवाच, धृतराष्ट्र चिपकाए, धृतराष्ट्र, he is holding on. I will not, I may be blind, but I want to sit here. And even if I am blind, my sons have to become the king. Duryodhan will be, even if he is disqualified, he is not qualified, he should become the king. And to make my son the king, no matter what I need to do, I'll break every rule, I'll do every papa, I'll do everything, right? But I should enjoy, और मेरे 7 पुश्ते खाएंगी. अरे तेरी 7 पुश्ते बाबा. But sometimes people work like that. They don't even know next, generation. But 7 generation मेरा फोटो लगाएंगे and garland पहनाएंगे. अरे कोई याद नहीं रखने वाला. Right? Like I remember, I would love my grandmother like anything. When I would come back from school, the first thing that I would do is run to my grandmother and sleep on her lap. And my mother would shout, don't do this, she's old, you have come from school, at least wash your feet. Don't go to her so close now, first wash your feet. And I would run and go there. And one day when I came back from school, she was not there. And I asked my mother, where is she? She's not here in the home. And my mother said she was coming out of the bathroom and she slipped and she had to be admitted. Evening, my father took me to the hospital. And I saw it was my first visit to the hospital in life. ICU koi jagah rehti. And she's sleeping there with all oxygen, this, that, her back is broken, her leg bones are broken. And I was like, ठीक है, अब तो touch भी नहीं कर सकता, पास में जाके सो भी नहीं सकता. But then, after a few days when I was coming back from school, I saw such a huge crowd in front of my house. I said, what happened? And I saw my grandmother is lying there. I'm like, what happened to her? And the first time in my life, I understood there is something called death. She's dead. And I was telling, wake her up. She should stand up now. No, my father said, now she's dead. She will not come back. Now we will take her to crematorium. So first time in my life, I went to a crematorium, right? And the body was burnt. We came back. I will cut the story short. Jai Shri Srimad Nitai ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So what happened? After we came back, right, my father told me, this is your grandmother's photo. We'll put it here. And I and my younger sister was told, my father said, every day I'll get flowers and your service is, your seva is make a garland, एक हार बनाना है और रोज दादी को मैं हार चढ़ाऊंगा. पिताजी ने ऐसा बोला. 3-4 दिन फूल आए, flowers were brought. And suddenly on the 5th day I asked him, where are the flowers? He said, bas ho gaya. Now plastic ka har. I said, well, plastic ka har to plastic ka har. 1 month did not cross. When I came back from school, I saw the photograph was not there. And I was like, I loved my grandmother. All that remained was her photograph and one garland, plastic. Even that, I asked my mother, kidhar gaya? And my mother said, तुम्हारे भाई को रेसिंग कार का बड़ा शौक है ना, आज उसने ही ऐसा हट किया, मुझे रेसिंग कार का फोटो लगाना है घर में. एंड योर फादर सेड, देखो खिला नहीं ठोकना है कहीं. सो आखिरी में मैंने मांडवली किया, दोनों के बीच में सुलह किया, दादी का फोटो निकालो और उधर रेसिंग कार का फोटो लगा दिया. what people work here for? They work for 7 पुश्ते मेरा गुण. अरे 7 पुश्ते, तुम्हारा फोटो 7वें दिन रहेगा क्या पता नहीं, 7 पुश्तों के लिए. So what do? The tendency to get attached is very easy. Why? Because maya sakta manah partha. There was a time when we were so attached to Krishna, that same attachment now is going towards material creation, this world of Maya. So, we will try to understand today. Let us see how much can we. Oh, we have time till what, 10 o'clock? Priyagopesh Prabhu is looking at Shailendra Prabhu and saying, Prabhuji, आप उनके नाम से धमकी दे रहे हैं मुझको, देख लो प्रभु जी. सब लोग आए आज इधर से, आप ज्यादा मत करना. Right? What do we find in Pandavas' life? They faced such reversals in personal life, but they sailed seamlessly. And now, in this chapter, you see they are sailing back home, back to Godhead. All throughout life, they sailed seamlessly, remained Krishna conscious, and now, at the right time, retirement. Give up and go. So, what is this art of letting go? To accept, to adapt, to advance, to be moldable to Krishna's desires, right? Whatever situation Krishna puts us in, navigate in a manner that we remain Krishna conscious. We don't get stuck at one place, right? So, I'll go fast. Especially, as an evidence we can see, wherever you go on pilgrimage, किधर भी जाओ तीर्थ यात्रा में इंडिया में, अगर वहाँ पे कोई तीर्थ क्षेत्र है और वहाँ पे पता नहीं कौन है क्या है, you will find the panda or the pujari will tell you, यहाँ पांडव आए थे. That is a sufficient reason for this place to become pilgrimage. Pandav आए. Which place is there where Pandavas did not go entire Bharatvarsha? That means they did not even get a fixed place to stay. 36 years is all that they ruled. But we find this art of letting go, right? So there is so much talk about letting go. We hear so much about it, but we still are not able to. Right? One time, there was an old father, right? Father of 3 sons. And this old man had run a cloth business all throughout his life. And now, the 3 sons who were old enough, they were telling their father, आप घर में बैठो पापा, बहुत हो गया अभी, आप भजन करो थोड़ा, आप अभी दुकान पे मत आओ, don't come to the shop. But the father every day would come to the shop and he would keep on giving some instructions, some ये ठीक नहीं किया, वो ठीक नहीं, ऐसे क्यों करते, ये नुकसान किया, वो किया. And the sons, they were trying their best कि कैसे समझाए पिताजी को. One day one sadhu came to the shop and these sons, they approached the sadhu and said, थोड़ा कर दो हमारे पिताजी के साथ कुछ, if you can repair him a little bit, now is the time that he does his bhajan, but he's so attached to this to come to the shop, right? The sadhu said, I'll do the job, don't worry. And the sadhu took the father by his hand and took him to a Shamshan Ghat, a crematorium, और उसको बिठा दिया उधर पे, sit here. Whole day this old man was watching, so many dead bodies are brought and the dead bodies are burnt, the relatives cry for some time and then they go away. Whole day the dead bodies were brought, and by the evening this old man started crying, my life is useless, my life is a waste, what did I do, what have I achieved, nothing I have achieved. And the sadhu said, काम हो गया. And the sadhu brought the old man back to the shop, देख लो काम हो गया. And the father repeated the same thing. My life is a waste. कुछ नहीं मैंने, what did I, मैंने क्या कमाया, कुछ नहीं किया. पिताजी क्या हो गया? And the father said, अगर मुझे पता होता इतने लोग मरते हैं और इतनी लकड़ी का जरूरत पड़ता है, मैं लकड़ी का बिजनेस करता, कपड़े का बिजनेस क्यों किया पता नहीं. What happens? To be attached in this world, right? Our problem is we are attached to a temporary reality. Right? It is real, but it is temporary, and it is beyond our control. Right? It is subject to change. Whatever we are holding on to and attached to, it is subject to change. Krishna, in the second chapter, 16th verse, Krishna says, Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhayor api drishto antas, tva anayos tattvadarshibhihi. He says that for the body, it's not going to endure. It will finish. For the soul, there is no death. But rather than catching the spirit, we catch the material body. Right? That's our problem. Right? We accepted a world which is temporary. This world, by default, it's going to change. And something that is subjected to change, you cannot hang along with it forever. But our tendency is, Jeena yaha, marna yaha, iske siva chana. Right? We abhi aayega 15th August ko. They'll play that song, Hum honge kamaya, Hum honge kamaya. Kab? एक दिन. वो कब आएगा दिन पता नहीं, कौन कामयाब हुआ पता नहीं, है ना. But what happens if you don't give it up, if you don't learn the art of letting go, the world will soon give it up on you. Either you give it up, right? That's why they say in the flowing river, if you want to take bath in flowing river, you cannot take bath in the same water twice. It's the different water. It's not the same water, right? So, what is constantly changing around us? I'm saying everything is changing. The first thing that changes around us is every day is the date. The date changes every day. With the change of the date, should we not understand? Are kal ka din gaya. It's gone. What will I do with today's day and date, which will also change? Even if I want to stop it, we all change the calendar, right? Some of us may say, I can say I have changed 48 calendars already. But when will I change? My attitude. I also need to change, right? The body will change. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhiras tatrana muhyati. From boyhood to youth to old age, even the body will change. So they say at age 1, success is if you can stand on your feet without taking support. That is success at age 1. At age 4, the success is if you stop urinating in your pants. That is success. At age 8, success is if you can return home on your own. That is success. At age 12, success is if you can make friends. At age 16 in US or at age 18 in India, if you can get a driving license, that is considered success. At age 25, if you can have a career, if you can get a job, a good job, if you can, and you can, make a career out of, then you are considered a successful person. At age 50, if you are still employable, that is success. And at age 60, if you can still retain your driving license, that is success. At age 65, if you still have your old friends. And at age 70, if you can return home without help. At age 75, if you don't urinate in your pants. And at age 80, if you can walk without any support. See how life is changing? See, what was success and what happens later. Right? But if we remain stuck at this with this idea, nothing will change. everything will remain the way I like it to be. Then we'll experience shocks in life, right? What else will change? I said date will change, the body will change, people around us will change, right? School friends, then college friends, office colleagues. How many things, how many people have changed around us? One time, so Times of India, they had put a cartoon one time. The cartoon was the old man is dead, already buried. The priest is standing on one side, and the wife, old wife, is standing at one side. And the priest is putting earth in the ground. From earth we come, and in the earth we go. Right? Ameen, Ameen, chal raha tha. And suddenly the priest stopped, and the priest asked, "There is nobody here?" He said, yeah, nobody came. And the priest said, "No, I saw your form. In the form 3 days back when you booked the crematorium, right? This ceremony, you had booked for it. You had written he had 750 friends." And the wife said, "No, they were all online friends." Nobody came. So, same set of people will not remain. You know, Radhanath Swami Maharaj, in one of his lectures, he says, either we will leave the people, or people will leave us, or time will take both of us away. That's relationships of this world. Even they will not remain permanent. Places will change, right? Cities change. What was this area of Hyderabad some years ago? What is it today? Right? Imagine, right? We go to Hampi ruins. It was their Archaeological Survey of India has written on the board, this lane that you are walking used to be a market where diamonds and rubies were traded like vegetables. Where is it today? Simply ruins. People will change, places will change, society will change. Right? Earlier they would talk about villages, families, nuclear families, now nuclear fission families. What all things are coming now? Business and markets will change. I'm simply giving examples of everything around us is changing. In 2000, they made a list of Fortune 500 companies. Right? Within next 10 years, 50% of those companies did not even exist. From 2000 to 2010, 50% of Fortune 500 companies did not exist. And the statistics were saying in next 10 years, further more will get extinct, right? How much is technology changing? By the time the students will come out of their colleges, they'll understand, jo bhi padhai kiya, kuch kaam ka nahi hai. Right? Elon Musk has come out and is saying, Grok, his AI, is PhD level in every subject that human beings know. More than that, he said, by December, Grok would start innovating. Can you imagine? If AI starts innovating, what will happen every day? What change? How dangerous. I was in US just few weeks back, and I was telling devotees, ये self driving cars जो चल रहा है, वो इनका एक्सीडेंट कराओ आप लोग. 2-4 का एकदम रॉयल एक्सीडेंट कराओ, नहीं तो ये रुकने वाले नहीं है. These people, the dangerous. Imagine Elon Musk opening a restaurant, no humans needed now. क्या करेंगे तुम एक एक करके? कुक की जरूरत नहीं तुमको, वेटर की जरूरत नहीं, तुम फिर आदमी क्या? What are humans going to do? They are creating a Frankenstein. They are creating a technology, still self-kill, right? And our Bill Gates and all are already talking. We need to bring down the human population. Without that, there is no solution to the problems of this world. How much population is good? 500 million के आसपास ठीक है बोलते. What is today? More than 7-8 billion population. And they brought the pandemic. The pandemic was not to kill the people. Pandemic was to scare. The real thing was they wanted to inject the vaccine. The vaccine is the real pandemic. That was the plan, right? And if I can give you news, the next pandemic is already being prepared for. It's already been done, right? So things will change. Governments will change. Environment will change. Climate will change. our health is changing, our opinions change, our goals change, then what are we holding on? Why not learn the art of let go? But the problem is, if we do not earn the art of let go, we generally will show inertia. No, I don't want to change. And when you don't agree for the change, what happens is you become dysfunctional. Inertia for change will only make you dysfunctional. If you want to hang on, you want to latch on, what happens when, just now we had, when I was in US, Texas, there were floods, and they were showing these, they were, uh, they were showing these floods. People ran away, the houses remained. We don't want to change. And how big houses flowing with the water, right? So when we refuse to change, right, what should I do? So you find in the Bhagavatam 11th canto 9th chapter 11.9.2, right? The Avadhuta Brahmana, he says he had 24 gurus, and one of his gurus was the hawk, right? The hawk को क्या बोलते हैं हिंदी में? ईगल नहीं, hawk को क्या? गिद्ध, बाज बोलते हैं, बाज बोलते हैं, ओके। बाज मेरे को लगा था साउंड सिस्टम में रहता है, ठीक है, बाज ऊपर भी रहता है हवा में. So this hawk, what the Avadhut Brahmana said, one of my gurus is the hawk. Why? He says, Samisham kururam jagnur balino anye niramishaha tadamisham parityajya sasukham samavindata. This hawk, he caught hold of a loaf of meat. He caught that meat and he flew into the sky. Wow! I am the successful one. I got the meat today. And what happened? Suddenly, so many other hawks started attacking him. This hawk. The hawk said, मैंने तुम्हारा कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ा रे. मैंने तुम्हारे साथ क्या किया? मुझको क्यों तकलीफ दे? Why are you troubling me? And after some trouble, this hawk decided, hut. He left the meat. And as soon as he left the meat, all other hawks ran towards the meat. And then this hawk realized, they were not after me. They were after what I was holding, right? When the competition was for what I own, right? What did the hawk learn? Let go. If I don't let go, so many problems, right? For the hawk, it was the meat. For us, Dehapatya kalatradishu Atma Sainyeshu Asatsvapi Tesham Pramatto Nidhanam Pashyan Api Na Pashyati 2:14. That's the verse, right? Persons devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problems of life, being too attached to the fallible sources like the body, children, and wife. Although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see their inevitable destruction. Bhagavatam is saying this. And 2:4.2, right? Atmajaya Suta Gara Pashu Dravina Bandishu Rajye Cha Vikale Nityam Virudham Mamatam Juho. For the hawk, it was the loaf of meat. For us, 8 things Bhagavatam says. Virudha mamta hota hai iske karan. Isko chhodna aasan nahi hai. Atma, there is body here. Atma, Jaya, wife, Suta, children, Gara, home. Pashu means cars here. Dravina, wealth, Bandhushu, relatives, Rajya, my undisputed kingdom. But Parikshit Maharaj, he could give all of them up, right? So let us discuss now the bad examples of letting go. Sometimes from the bad example, we can learn very easily because we can see a reflection there, right? Good examples, they are like, बहुत दूर है, बहुत बड़े लोग हैं शायद. But when we see the bad example, the first bad example with people where not let go was done is Dhritarashtra, right? Dhritarashtra was, in the Bhagavad Gita you find very attached, but in the Bhagavatam you find the same Dhritarashtra, when Vidura preached him, he could let go, right? Right? Politicians, Prabhupada says, they stay glued, like here Prabhupada is saying, they stay glued to their positions. In the first canto, Srila Prabhupada says, one of the purports, India was, ruled by this philosophy of 5-year planning commission. कांग्रेस टाइम हर 5 साल के लिए प्लानिंग कमीशन बैठता था. One of their chairman, Mr. Ansari, one time he was going to the parliament to present the report of next 5-year plan. And while going to the parliament, he had a heart attack. And Prabhupada says, the planning commission chairman could not plan about for his life. Was planning for India, but his own life he could not plan. Right? You find Yayati Maharaj, in the Bhagavatam it comes, he traded youth with his son. His old age he gave it to his son. I want to continue to enjoy. Right? You find relationships, right? Sometimes there are those who are very close to us emotionally. They may not remain. Even that change we have to accept, right? But if we kind of keep the hangover of it, मैंने उसके लिए कितना किया पता है, मैंने कितना किया था, and ऐसा किया उसने मेरे साथ. People live with this existential bitterness in life. सब खराब है, सब नालायक. अरे change. Except this was going to happen, right? Every year in Pune, especially we see, every year when the college season begins, you find young kids on the platform and parents in the train. The parents, बच्चों को छोड़ना पड़ रहा है स्टेशन में, and parents, you have to accept it. You have to accept this change, right? Like when I had to go home and inform my parents, I am going to join Brahmachari ashram. Right? So, parents ka to ho gaya. My sister in US, she could not handle it. For her, it was such a shock. 5 years, can you imagine? 5 years she went to her local temple, Potomac temple. And 5 years, every Sunday feast, she would simply make the President Mataji, Anand Vrindavan Mataji, to sit and simply cry in front of her. मेरे भाई को वापस कर दो मेरे. And she would say, मैं क्या करूँ? तुम्हारा भाई उधर पूना में ज्वाइन किया, तुम अमेरिका में मेरे को आके बोलती मेरे भाई को वापस कर दो. What was the benefit? I did not think, oh, my sister is undergoing so much pain. मैं रुक जाऊँ क्या? मेरी बहन को इतना मुश्किल हो रहा है. Today the scene is, she is an initiated devotee. Right? But yes, we have to understand, even people around us. You find Sati's example. She did not agree for the change. She could see that Daksha and Shiva, jamta nahi baat. Shiva told her, don't go to the sacrifice. तुम्हारे पिताजी ने किया है. But it will be very painful for you when you see that they are disrespecting me. Sati बोल रही थी, अरे बाप है मेरा, मैं संभाल लूंगी सब कुछ. He loves me. I will take care of everything. Shivji said, it will be dangerous for your life. I am telling you. सती को समझा नहीं. सती शिवजी को ही सिखा के उल्टा चली गई. मुझको जाना है मेरे पिताजी के घर में. She went and there she saw no place given for Lord Shiva. And a complete plan was there that after the sacrifice gets over, शिवजी को कोई भाग मिलने वाला नहीं. हम नहीं ऑफर करेंगे शिवजी को. Sati felt so disheartened, she underwent sati right there. From there this word sati comes. She brought a fire from within. She was not ready to let go. Even Daksha, you see, Daksha's example. अरे हो गया बेटी का शादी, अभी गई ना, छोड़ दे उसको. But meddling in the affairs. And it happens nowadays also. Right? The parents will call अपनी बेटी को, बेटा, अरे बेटी है, बेटा का को. But बेटा, हम आपके साथ है. अरे हो गया शादी, उसको जाने दो, अभी उसको करने दो एडजस्ट. पर इधर से they will meddle in their affairs, and whole life gets spoiled. Right? Okay, I'll not further discuss on that example. Right? Our roles will change. You find young couples, they are like, the wife is like, how beautiful I am, and wo chalta hai. And the husband is like, I have to earn, I have to grow. And as soon as they get a baby, you'll find, oh, now the mother is not thinking of, dressing herself up and decorating herself. Now baby, my baby is so beautiful, my baby is so nice, everything goes for the baby. Right? And when the kids grow up, the father should understand, now let the children take it up. But many a times father remains a competitor to the children. Very dangerous. Let go, right? Let go, right? है ना? उसको ऐसा बोलते थे, जब मेकअप नहीं होता था तब ब्रेकअप भी नहीं होता था. Right? But what happens? You find Kaikai, she felt my position in this kingdom will get challenged. अरे राम बच्चा है, राम मेरे पैर छूता है, राम. But when she thought my position will get challenged, पूरा रामायण हो गया उसके बाद. Let go, move on, let the next generation take it up. But what happened? When roles change, we need to adapt. Generations will change, right? And the leaders have to understand, acknowledge, we need to move on. चिपक के नहीं बैठना चाहिए leadership position में. Let the next generation take it up, right? And in my experience of whatever life I have lived, every next generation may be spiritually weak, but managerially better than the previous generation. They actually can manage better than the previous generation. But what happens? The leaders do not agree to change. They hold on. See, leadership just doesn't mean you create laws, you create loyalists. It also means a legacy you leave. You leave a legacy behind. But most people, leaders think, I will make laws and I'll have my loyalists. But what is the legacy that you are leaving? Are you ready to change? Right? On the Bhagavad Gita cover page, what do we see? कितने लोग हैं उसमें बताओ तो जरा देखते हैं. जनरल नॉलेज. कितने लोगों के फोटो हैं उसमें? कवर पेज पे कितने लोग हैं? How many people? People, not animals. घोड़े भी हैं ऐसा मत बोलना. People. 2? No. There are 3. Hanuman is on the flag. That way you can see his photo, but Hanuman is there. He's present there. He had told Bhima, I'll be there. But lesson to be learned from Hanuman is, when Treta Yuga was there, I fought for Ram. Yuga has changed, generation changed. I am there, but Arjuna, you do the job now. Hanuman did not say, Arjun, Baju hat, har yug mein main karunga. Every time I will be there. Hanuman let go. He let go. So as devotees, what should be our spirit? Our spirit should be, see, we have to understand, if we have 2 hands and Krishna wants to take away, Prabhupada says, how much can you stop? If Krishna wants to take away from you, 2 ही हाथ है. And if you have 2 hands and Krishna wants to give, but you are holding Maya, how will you ever accept Krishna? We have to give up Maya, then only Krishna can come in. You have to make space for Krishna. But unless you let go, how will Krishna come in? Right? If the mind is filled with garbage, right, we cannot receive Krishna. We have to learn the art of letting go. Right? Let go Maya, then only you can receive Krishna. Right? One time, one traveler, he was going up the mountains, right? A mountaineer. He went up, he was going up the mountain and he saw one hut. Very simple hut was there. He said, hey, itna upar, kaun reh raha hai? He went close to the hut and saw inside one sadhu was sitting there. And inside the hut, there was hardly anything. Some clothes were there, one stick was there, and one tumbler was there. One small, pot was there. Simple, beautiful, calm, this sage. And this traveler asked, oh, how are you able to live here? And hardly any possessions you have. How are you able to live? And the sage said, I can ask you the same question. You are climbing the hill. Why are you having such a small backpack? And this traveler said, I need to travel light. If I have a heavy backpack, I won't be able to climb. And the sage said, did you not get the answer for your question? The sage said, I am also a traveler in this world. As soul, I am also on a Jivan Yatra. I need to learn to travel light. That's what I am doing. How do you travel light? With the let go attitude, you can travel light. That's why Jesus would say, human form of life is like a bridge. It is meant to be crossed. Don't try to make a house on the bridge. Have you ever seen? Shailen Prabhu coming back from office and he sees, अरे ये तो क्या फ्लाईओवर के ऊपर घर बना दिया किसी ने. ऐसे कभी होता नहीं इंडिया में, कभी ये भी हो जाएगा पता नहीं. इंडिया में कुछ भी हो सकता है. एनीथिंग इज पॉसिबल इन इंडिया. बट what do we learn? We should learn to travel light. What is our excess baggage? We carry the excess baggage of our attachments, of our expectations, of our plans, of our prejudices, of our opinions. So much baggage we carry, right? And then it becomes so painful, right? But we need to learn, when the higher call comes, even a devotee has to withdraw. All of us. Like Prabhupada on his, say, deathbed, and one devotee was looking at Prabhupada with a very pitiable, stare. Why? Prabhupada had said, only bones and skin remaining, nothing between now, only bones and skin. But when this devotee was looking at Prabhupada, Prabhupada said, don't think this will not happen to you. It will happen to everyone. Are we preparing? Are we ready? Let go and move on. Which all kind of calls will come to us? We'll take these examples and we'll stop by 11 o'clock today for sure. ठीक है? 11 बजे को वो फट से पीछे पलट के देख रही, 11 बोल रही है, क्या बात कर रहे, कितना बज गया? When the call of destiny comes, suddenly destiny will call. ऐसा कुछ तो आएगा, हे चलो छोड़ना पड़ेगा, अब क्या करेंगे? You find the example of Vidura. स्वयं धनुर्द्वारि निधाय मायां भ्रातुः पुरो मर्म सुताडितोपि सैत्थम अत्य उल्बुण कर्ण बाणैर गतव्यथो अयाद उरुमान्यमानः. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 3:116. Vidura, he was thinking, I will continue living in this kingdom. I will keep on giving good counsel to Dhritarashtra. But one day, when he gave counsel, Duryodhana was so angry. He said, I am giving the rule now. Get out of this place. Not even without your, forget your dhanush and band, not even your clothes. You can only carry your breath from this place. Suddenly destiny brought a day, and Vidura there says, Prabhupada says in the purport, Vidura understood, this is the internal energy of Krishna working to make me to go for pilgrimage. When the destiny call came, Vidura did not say, "Nahi, मैं यही खड़े होकर लड़ूंगा, मैं भी यहाँ पे हूँ." No, he simply agreed. Let me. He saw that call of destiny as he took that situation favorably. Let me move on. You'll find the call of duty will come. The first is call of destiny. We have to agree to change. The second is the call of duty. You find Gadadhar Pandit was told by Mata Sachi, you always be with Nimai. And when Nimai took sannyas, Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, Gadadhar Pandit also left. He said, I am taking Kshetra sannyas, I will be in Jagannath Puri. Now Lord Chaitanya could not say anything. But when Lord Chaitanya decided, I am going to Vrindavan, Gadadhar Pandit said, I am also coming. And Lord Chaitanya told, no, don't do this. Your duty is to stay here at Tota Gopinath and serve Gopinath. You cannot give up your service. Right? The call of duty key. Right? Nityanand Prabhu was told by Lord Chaitanya, don't come to Jagannath Puri. You be in Gaudiya Desh and you preach there. The call of duty. The next call is the call of authority will come sometimes. Our authorities will give us a call. Be ready for the change. Right? The example is Priyavrat Maharaj. I is living with Narad Muni in his ashram. I am going to remain a brahmachari. I am going to take sannyas. And suddenly Brahmaji comes with Swayambhu Manu and says, nah, I want you to become a king. क्या बात कर रहे हैं? मैं आश्रम छोड़ दूं? करना पड़ेगा. But the duty was there, the higher duty call was there, the call of authority, and he accepted the change. The call of purpose will come. Next call is the call of purpose. Prithu Maharaj, 100 sacrifices he wanted to do. The 99 sacrifice he was told, तुम शांत बैठो, ये इंद्र मूर्ख हो गया है, तुम तो होशियार है ना, चुप बैठ. Higher purpose was there, and Prithu Maharaj agreed. You find for the Samudra Manthan Leela, huge Garuda brought the huge Mandara mountain to churn the ocean. But as soon as Garuda brought it, he was told by Vishnu, अभी आप निकलो. क्या बात कर रहे हैं, शो तो अभी शुरू होने वाला है, सब मेहनत मैं किया, मंदार पर्वत मैं लाया, मुझे क्यों निकाल रहे. Lord had another plan. Now Vasuki will be needed as a churning rope, and both of them cannot be at one place. So the authority said, Garuda, you go off. And he agreed for the call. And the call of time factor will come. The fifth call, the call of time factor. Suddenly Parikshit Maharaj got to know, I have been cursed to die within 7 days. The call of time factor. Khatvanga Maharaj's example comes. Right? He was told, you just have one moment. See, call of time factor. And one of the last calls, right? Like we get a call on our phone. And what do? We change, right? So these calls are already there. The last of the call is call of Krishna. The gopis are having wonderful pastimes with Krishna. Now, at the middle of the night, they are at their home. And suddenly Krishna, from under the Vamshivat on the bank of Yamuna, in the middle of the night, Krishna called. And the gopis, what did they do? They simply gave up. And they ran towards Yamuna for what Krishna has called. So we also need to learn this art of letting go and be ready for the next adventure that Krishna brings us in our life. But if we hold on, we'll simply become dysfunctional and we'll break. Soul, right? In Marathi there's a song, Santhavahati Krishna Mai तीरे वरच्या सुख दुःखाची जाणीव तिजला नाही. So the Krishna river, the river simply keeps on flowing like a sadhu. संत वहाती, है ना, ऐसा बहता रहता है. क्या बोल रहे, अरे एक साइड में कोई तो नए जन्मे बच्चे को नहाने के लिए लेके आते पहले बार, एकदम खुश हैं, और इस साइड में कोई डेड बॉडी. बट वो नदी रुकता नहीं, वो बहता रहता है. इसलिए बहता पानी और चलता साधु कभी खराब नहीं होता, ऐसा बोलते. बहते रहना चाहिए लाइफ में. बहने का मतलब क्या है? अग्री फॉर द चेंज, राइट? व्हेन द विंड्स ऑफ चेंज ब्लो, some will erect walls and some will erect sails. आप दीवार बनाओ, the winds of change will break the whole thing, but some will erect sails and they will flow. So one very important thing that I'll clarify is letting go does not mean you become irresponsible. छोड़ दिया प्रभुजी, छोड़ दिया प्रभुजी, छोड़ दिया प्रभुजी, हो गया प्रभुजी, अपने को आज आर्ट ऑफ लेटिंग गो समझ गया प्रभुजी. I have let go. Right? Arjuna wanted to be like that. He wanted to run away from his duty. Krishna is saying art of letting go is not that you give up your duty, you give up attachment to the results of your duty. You give up attachment to the expectations that you have. That is art of letting go. Right? How do we let go? Very important is, Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, Padma Patra Ivambhasa. Become a lotus in the mud of this material world. Remain like a lotus. Do not allow this, this stain of attachment to come to us. How do you do it? The lotus is connected to the swamp with a stem. We may have to live in this world, work around this world. We have to perform our sevas also in the temple, but do it with a service attitude. सेवा भाव. जब दास को बोला करो तो किया, जब दास को बोला छोड़ो तो छोड़ा, जब दास को बोला कुछ और करो तो तैयार होना चाहिए. दास को थोड़ी देर के बाद ये नहीं लगना चाहिए अब मैं मालिक, अब मैं जो डिसीजन लूंगा वैसा होगा. एवरीवन लर्न्स टू सर्व इन अ मूड ऑफ सर्वेंट, दास, राइट, है ना. इसलिए उसको ऐसा बोलते हैं, अगर नाव पानी में है तो कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं, पर अगर नाव के अंदर पानी आ गया तो बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है. वैसे जीव अगर संसार में है तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, पर जीव के अंदर संसार आ गया तो बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है. राइट? सो व्हाट डू वी डू? राइट? व्हाट इज आवर ग्लू? our glue is that service attitude, not that attachment to whatever we do, right? Positions may change, time may change, service attitude should remain, right? Different sevas will come. Sometimes in charge here, sometimes servant there, sometimes a team member there. Everywhere I simply perform as servant, right? Like Hanuman. When Hanuman one day was told in Ayodhya, सबने इनको मार्केट भेज दिया बड़ा परचेसिंग के लिए, और सबने पीछे मीटिंग किया, बोला अरे हनुमान कुछ कर नहीं देता, नहीं सब कुछ हनुमान कर देता है. तो इन्होंने क्या किया, सबने मीटिंग किया और एक सेवा चार्ट बनाया और नोटिस बोर्ड पे चिपका दिया, सेवा का नाम और उसके आगे डिवोटी का नाम. When Hanuman came back, he was trying to do some seva, और सब सेवा चार्ट दे, सेवा चार्ट दे. एंड हनुमान went to the notice board, देखा सेवा चार्ट पे अपना नाम ही नहीं. अरे मैं सेवा नहीं करूंगा तो मैं करूंगा क्या? एंड होल डे हनुमान इज सिटिंग एट राम्स फीट. कोई सेवा नहीं मिल रहा, कोई सेवा नहीं मिल रहा, है ना. व्हाट हैपेंड, बाय द नाइट व्हेन एवरीथिंग इज ओवर एंड राम एंड सीता हैव टू गो टू देयर क्वार्टर्स, हनुमान इज आल्सो फॉलोइंग. एंड सीता बोली इधर नहीं, इधर नहीं, यहाँ पे तुमको एंट्री नहीं, सेवा है. बोला कौन सा सेवा है? अभी राम को जब नींद आएगा ना करेंगे तो कोई तो ऐसे तो करने वाला चाहिए ना, वो सेवा मैं करूँगा. दिस इज सेवा भाव. हनुमान डिड नॉट से वहाँ का पोजीशन मेरा गया, वहाँ का, अरे कुछ तो सेवा करूँगा, अरे मैं दास हूँ, है ना. जब हम राम का दर्शन लेते हैं, राम दरबार का, सीता राम लक्ष्मण ऊपर है, हनुमान किधर है? नीचे. कभी हनुमान ये नहीं बोलते सेल्फी में मेरे को भी आने दो थोड़ा, सीता जरा साइड सरको बर, बहुत हो गया तुम्हारा खड़ा रहना, ये लक्ष्मण तू तो बाजू हट थोड़ा, आई विल स्टैंड देयर. हनुमान इज ऑलवेज एट द फीट विद दैट दास्य भाव, सेवा भाव. Second thing that we need to learn in art of letting go is always serve with a mood of gratitude. Who is the real owner? Krishna is the real owner, right? I don't want to hold on to things. Krishna has given, Krishna can take away anytime, right? And you find Srila Prabhupada, even when his factory was burning, Prabhupada didn't stop. Wonderful, I'll continue. Otherwise, many people will break to see, अरे पूरा factory में आग लग गया, right? You find Arjuna, he accepted. I had the power which Krishna had given. Now Krishna has taken away that power. Right? The third way we can learn the art of letting go is by being in good association. When we take help from devotees, when we remain under guidance, when we take advice. You find Dhruva Maharaj, पकड़ के बैठ गए, अब भी तो ऐसा कुछ चाहिए, देख लेना, बाप को दिखाता हूँ, सौतेली माँ को दिखाता हूँ. But he had the guidance of Suniti. Further, he took guidance of Narad Muni. Later in life, guidance of Swayambhu Manu. He corrected himself. Right? The fourth way that we can important for learning the art of letting go is called personal introspection. Bhukta bhoga parityakta drishta dosha cha nityashah na ishwarasya shubham datte Sve mahimni stitasya cha. 3rd canto, 27th chapter, 24th verse. By introspection, like we did, date will change, people will change, place will change. What happens when we see in our own lives, when we learn from our own experience, we compare it to Bhagavatam, when we Shravanam, right? Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Introspection is very important in life, right? So you find Sanatana Goswami, he was given a very nice shawl, and he has taken the cloth of mendicant, but he has a very nice shawl on his shoulder. When he comes in front of Lord Chaitanya looked at him and looked at the shawl and didn't say anything. But Sanatana Goswami introspection se kya samjha? Mahaprabhu did not like, I'm a mendicant, but I'm wearing a very nice shawl. He went to the river और धोबी को बोला, तेरा फटा हुआ शॉल मेरे को दे दे, और ये मजाक मत कर मेरे साथ, मजाक मत, आई एम सीरियस, टेक इट. व्हाट डिड सनातन गोस्वामी डू? ही लेट गो बाय इंट्रोस्पेक्शन. रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी increasing renunciation, and Mahaprabhu every time was saying very nice, but he was introspecting and understood, right? So every morning when we sit for chanting, we should be able to do let go. Now, I am not a man, I am not a woman, I am not mother, I am not father, I am not in charge, I am not servant, I am not a student, I am not. I am nothing of it. I am simply the servant of Krishna. Gopir Bhartur Pad Kamalayor Das Das Dasanudas. And then begin your chanting. But if you cannot chant, with that let go, if you don't let go, you will simply, your chanting will reinforce your, what Prabhupada is saying in the purport, national consciousness, family consciousness, society consciousness. Rather than coming out of it, we only reinforce it by our chanting. Before we begin our japa, we have to consciously think of it, meditate on it. I am simply servant of Krishna. Rest, everything should stop now. Let go. Next 2 hours, I simply call out to Krishna. My eternal sambandha is with Krishna. After 2 hours are over, I once again take the world, look at the world that I am in. But at least for chanting, this let go attitude is very important. And ultimately, when death comes, all of us will be tested. Do I let go? If I cannot, whatever I hold on will simply give me another body, another birth in this world. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Om. I am letting you go before 11 o'clock. I have learned the art of let go. Right? I was telling one devotee, some people bring joy, right, wherever they go. Some people bring joy whenever they go. Right? I'm in the second category. Right? Whenever I go, people become very happy. अरे प्रभु जी का क्लास खत्म हो गया, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. खत्म हो गया.